This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and in this video we're going to be comparing the WANDRD X1 crossbody bags, small, medium, and large. Let's dive in. So when it comes to the exterior of these bags, they're pretty much exactly the same. We've got a lot of the same materials. I'll just grab the middle one here, the medium. Nylon exterior, YKK zippers throughout with the AquaGuard or kind of a PU coating on the track there, and a Woojin buckle on the strap, which is stowed back here right now. So you're not going to see a ton of differences between these, but obviously as you go up the ladder here, they're going to get heavier. So obviously this is going to be the lightest one, then the medium, and then the large. One thing that is worth noting is that on the side we have these daisy chains here. So you're going to get a little bit of extra space as you go up. So as you can see, the daisy chain goes to about right here on the small, and you have a little bit of extra space up here on the medium. I believe these two are more comparable. You can kind of get them side by side there. Pretty much the same size on these two, but the smaller one is a little bit shorter there and just not as much room to attach things here. So something else to note is that on the smallest one, they all do have a pretty good size handle here, but this one is the tightest, obviously, because it's the smallest one, just a little bit tight on your hand. Once you get to the medium, you're still kind of running into that issue, but then on the large, there's just so much width there that there's not really a problem. But this one is the heaviest, especially when you have it loaded with gear. So the lack of padding, to me personally, matters more on this largest one, because if you are, I mean, it has a strap, but occasionally you might want to carry it like this if you were walking through the airport or on the airplane or something like that. I don't know, you do you, but carrying it like this does dig in a little bit more. I don't think that's a feature that's going to stop you from buying this, but on the small, you can't put as much gear inside of here, so it's just not as much of an issue. But other than that, really on the outside, they're really all the same, other than the size and the weight. So once we get talking more about carry and what you can fit inside is when you're going to start seeing more differences. So when it comes to the harness system, you're going to see a lot of the same stuff here again. So actually, I should say identical in materials, etc., but how you wear it and comfort is going to be different because of weight and size. Again, I feel like a broken record here. So, you know, very basic strap, no padding or aeration or anything like that. And then we've got that buckle that we mentioned earlier from Woojin. Magnetic buckle takes some time to get used to, but once you get used to it, no biggie. Maybe it will pop off occasionally depending how you're wearing it. I didn't really have that issue, but we do have a full review of this, so make sure you go check that out as well. We have a full review of the small one, and then you can kind of translate that up to the medium and the large. But as you can see, they're all exactly the same when it comes to straps, which you might think, oh, it's going to carry exactly the same, but because it does go up in size and goes up in weight, it's going to change how you carry it and also how comfortable that is, because on this small one, you just can't fit as much gear inside here, similar to the handle, so this thin strap isn't really a problem. But when you get over here and you've got, you know, a tablet and a phone and a bunch of other tech stuff inside of here, this thin strap's going to start to dig in, especially if you're wearing like a thinner shirt or something like that. As far as the back panel goes, them being the same throughout doesn't bother me so much. Maybe if you have a smaller frame, this might feel just a little bit big, depending on where you're wearing, especially on your front. On your back, maybe not so much. Just the really main difference for me personally is this strap, and it's just really just not thick enough for how much gear you can fit inside of here. It's going to start digging in, especially if you're wearing it all day. If you're just going from point A to point B, not so much, but that's something to think about. So as far as fit notes go, I don't really have a ton to say here because, again, they are all the same, and you can't really see how much weight it's putting on my shoulder or anything like that by showing you. But the size is different, so I just want to show you them all just on my body. So this is the small one here. As you can see, it's very comfortable. It's really easy to move it around because it is so small. So I can take that off really easily, throw that on the ground because there's nothing in it right now. Then we've got the medium, which obviously is going to be a bit bigger. Hopefully not hitting the mic too much there. This one, again, is very manageable for me. Very easy to just kind of swing it from front to back. Again, there isn't anything inside the small and the medium right now, so when there's gear in there, it's going to weigh down a little bit more. But overall, very comfortable. Something else to mention is we do have strap keepers on here, so all three of them have those, so no matter how you wear it, you're not going to have a bunch of strap, just kind of flailing around. But then moving to the large is when you really see probably the biggest difference for me personally, because it is just so much larger footprint-wise. Try not to hit the mic too much again. And as you can see, this one is just quite a bit bigger. And I have a fairly large frame. I'm not huge or anything like that, but it's just harder to move it around because it does have that weight. and it just does dig in that little bit more because of that extra weight. I think it's still very manageable, and as you can see, it is that much bigger on my body, and just depends what you're bringing and how much you really want to bring it. So if you found this video helpful so far, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like this video so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. So we've just got one real secondary compartment here. I guess you could also count this back pocket where you can stow the strap, but that's the same of all of them, just a little bit smaller, obviously, as you go down the line. But there are some differences here in the front secondary compartment. So obviously, this one is the largest, and I have this one packed out right now, main compartment and secondary compartment, and these ones not. And as I go down the line, I'm going to kind of show you what fits from this one into this one and into this one, and just show you, how you can visualize that gear. So in this one here, I'm able to easily fit this Kindle, no problem. There's a little bit of extra wiggle space, so depending on what tablet you have, you can look up the dimensions and see if it'll work for you. There isn't a ton of padding here, so maybe use a case depending on just what you're bringing and I guess how much you care about it, because there isn't, again, I would typically face this the other way. Don't know why I did it, but just a tip, I suppose. But moving on, I need to turn that off. Moving here, this one will just barely fit inside of here. I like to the point where I would not do this because it is just so tight, but in a pinch that will fit inside the medium. Again, take a look at your tablet, measure it, and see what the dimensions stack up here, but this does fit the Kindle. I turned it on again on accident. See, just trying to get that out of there even is just really, really challenging. And then moving down to the small here, it's not gonna fit, not even just like, it's not going past there, and obviously you wouldn't want to force it because that's exposed. Obviously, even if you turn it around, it's just too much. Like, you don't want to put that in there. If you have a smaller tablet, it might be able to fit in there, or even just to put your phone in there. I think that's probably a better bet, at least on the smaller one here. I think it's probably a better bet on the bigger one here as well. If you have a plus-sized phone, that might struggle in the smallest one here, but that's going to be fine in the medium and obviously fine in the large. So another difference to mention is that we have a pass-through that goes from the front pocket to the main compartment. I don't know what accent that was, but struggling over my words there. But that isn't in the small one. You only have the pass-through on the larger two, not in the small one. So if you have the small one and you want to charge your phone while it's in this pocket, you can't do that from a battery bank in the main compartment. But you can do that with these ones. There's a little red thing there. That's the, I'll show you a little bit closer. That's where you pass through with a cable or something like that. So if that's something that matters to you and you want to be able to charge whatever you have in the front, whether that be a small tablet, still probably a small tablet, or your phone or whatever it is, you need to go with one of these ones because as you can see, there's no red up there, no pass through. Other than that, again, just depends the size of your gear and what you want to bring to determine which of these you need. So moving into the main compartment, you're going to see very similar organization between these three bags. It's going to change a little bit when you get down to the smallest one, but overall it's kind of a similar idea. So something I thought with this, when I tested this one in full, you can see that full review on our site, is that it was just a little bit limiting with these three pockets here. On the large one, I'll pop this open. You can see that we have 4 compartments here. Bring it a little bit closer. 4 compartments, and these are very large, and you can fit a ton of gear inside of these just because they're so much bigger. But in the small one here, you just don't have as much space. I like the bigger one here. And then in the middle size here, pop this open, we again have the 4 spaces. So I like that there is the change going from the large and medium to the small. But again, the small, it just feels a little bit limiting to me. And as I said, I have gear stowed in this one right now, so we're gonna kind of start sliding things down to see how they fit. So I have my phone in the main compartment in this one just because it feels like a waste in the front compartment. On this one, I probably put it into this pocket here. And I should mention, I don't have this thing completely packed out, but I do have quite a bit of gear inside of here. So next, I would probably take out my battery bank and slide that in this back pocket here. It just barely fits inside of there because of just how tall this battery bank is, but it is going to fit, but it is a little bit awkward just kind of jutting out of there. I've got my headphones in here, some battery banks, not battery banks, just power bricks there, and then some cables. So you can get a better idea, see that organization there. You've got the big pocket in the back, a smaller mesh pocket with another smaller mesh pocket inside of it. This one goes all the way down, this one goes almost all the way down. That divider there where you can put different gear, and then you got an AirTag pocket right there, and another pocket mesh pocket right there. So quite a bit of organization inside of here. If you have larger gear, it might not work super well for you, like you're not gonna be able to really fit a large pair of headphones in there or something like that. But putting that gear inside of here, we can still fit a lot of the gear. It's just a lot, like I would say it's a lot more optimized in here because there isn't so much space. So basically for me, above this organizer here, this space feels kind of wasted at times because it's hard to organize. Like you can organize down here, but unless your organized gear sticks up high, it's like you're kind of wasting a little bit of space there. So with this one, there's less wasted space just because it doesn't feel as big, and you can kind of, I don't know, I can still fit pretty much everything that I fit inside of that one, apart from the Kindle, obviously, because I have my phone in that front compartment now. I can fit everything in here. It is going to be a little bit tight to close, but as you can see, I can still do that. So this is going to depend what you're packing, what you're bringing in, what, you know, the size of your gear compared to mine. Like if you have, you know, a bigger power bank or something like that, or you just, I keep saying power bank, these chargers, if you have one bigger one, you're gonna have to, you know, dedicate one whole thing to that. I think you guys are smart enough with packing to kind of know what I'm saying here. But now we're gonna move all this stuff into the smallest one. Make sure everything is out of there. Grab my phone. And I should mention that I can fit more gear inside of here. This is just kind of my typical what I'm going to bring. You know, you have the option to bring more gear with this largest one. I think I probably could have fit a couple pieces of extra gear inside of here, but again, I didn't have the Kindle in there. But moving into the smallest one here, again, I'm gonna put my phone in this front compartment, and even that's getting a little bit tight, so if you have a plus size phone, that might not work for you. Going with the battery bank here, I really don't have a great option for that other than in just this organization like pillar here. My 2 battery banks on the sides, throwing stuff around. And then now I'm just kind of like, my headphones don't really have a dedicated place to go. I can kind of shove them down in here. And then the cables, which I had in this pocket before, I think they would still fit there, but it's just getting a lot tighter now because of all of the stuff I have stowed inside of here. So if I get this battery bank out of here, I think that this is a much easier pack now because without that battery bank, it still closes pretty easily. But if I were to now shove this inside of there, as you can see, it's getting a lot more difficult to do that. It's just not really, I think I could make this work, but it's just too tight and it'll be too hard for me to access my gear while I'm on the go. Even right now, getting this zipper closed is proving to be challenging. So obviously the smallest one, you can't fit as much gear inside, but if you go with the smallest one, you're probably not bringing something like this and you don't have a desire to bring the Kindle in this specific bag. So it really just comes down to, again, what gear you're gonna bring and just how much comfort you're willing to give up going with that larger size, because it is gonna dig in a little bit, but you know, just use what you will, I guess. So there you have it, a comparison of the WANDRD X1 crossbody bags from small, medium, and large. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.